Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, hiding the house. Skip the emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, hiding the house. Skip the emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, hiding the house. Skip the emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, hiding the house. Skip the emotions floating. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, hiding the house. Skip the question of what's going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to double check the mic. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, that's great. I'm just going to double check the mic. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Probably going to go to Chrono. Let's go to Chrono. I think I'm falling in love. Hey. Hey. I just genuinely want to know. What the fuck is that though? Because like when I put this in, it becomes that. And I do want to know. Does it actually impact my use of life? When I put this in, it becomes that. And I do want to know. Does it actually impact my use of life? When I put this in, it becomes that. And I do want to know. Does it actually impact my use of life? Can I get this earbrush? I actually think this earbrush. Does it have a problem with use of it?
Hello, it is Readalong, and today I'll be talking about
I bet most people have never heard of a cook named Mary Mallon, but it turns out she's actually one of the most famous people in American history. It's just that she's better known as Typhoid Mary. And today I'm going to be making a peach ice cream from 1911, the same dish which inadvertently allowed Mary to spread typhoid across New York City. So thank you to my Patreon patrons for supporting this channel as we make Typhoid Mary's peach ice cream, this time on Tasting History. Earlier this year I did a video on the history of gout and people really enjoyed it, so I figured I would do a whole little series of videos that have to do with food-related illnesses spread out over the rest of the year. So this is number 2 in that series, a video on typhoid. Now typhoid is still with us today in many parts of the world, but in North America and Europe it was much more common in the 19th and early 20th century before hand washing became as common as it would become today. Back then, typhoid was endemic and caused millions of people to become seriously ill each year, and with a mortality rate of 10%, it was also one of the most deadly diseases.
I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way. But it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the hope. Skip the cracks, shut the words, going numb, embracing life with no hope. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the hope. Skip the cracks, shut the words, going numb, embracing life with no hope.
We should be fine, I think. I think now that's set up fine.
Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the hope. Skip the cracks, shut the words, going numb, embracing life with no hope.
We should be fine, I think. I think now that's set up fine.
Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the skip the question of words, going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the skip the question of words, going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the skip the question of words, going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, night in the road. Skip the question of words, going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears, now the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in the world that invincible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way, but it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, night in the road. Skip the question of words, going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the emotion,
Okay, hi.
you say. Wipe your tears, now the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in the world that invincible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way, but it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, night in the road. Skip the question of words, going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears, now the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in the world that invincible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way, but it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, night in the road. Skip the question of what's going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears, now the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in the world that invisible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way. But it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the hope. Skip the question of what's going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears, now the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in the world that invisible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way. But it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace. Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the hope. Skip the question of what's going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears, now the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in the world that invisible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way. But it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace.
Okay, stream is good. Unfortunately, I'm going to have a mic muted because I cannot afford to have like double voice feedback because my OBS setup is super primitive. I have no clue who's listening, by the way. Please say hi. Please do say hi. If you're able to type in chat so that I can hear you, because like I cannot like know how my voice is coming back from this video feedback. It's really horrible. Okay, so Rating City, Millions Recollection. I found out about this game from one specific art that, like, one specific screenshot art that my friend posted on a Discord server, which wrote, "Hi." Oh shit, which one is this? I don't know who you are. Louder subject name. You gotta introduce yourself, babe. You gotta introduce yourself. Anyway. I saw a screenshot of like two characters who suspiciously looks very similar to each other. Is the voice too loud? Are the volumes too loud? Okay. I think 35 should be fine. I think for me, I'm gonna chop BGM down to 20. And then we're gonna leave sound effects and everything on. That's good enough. Okay, so we're probably gonna prop into a new game now, I think. Okay, Orca layout. Okay, part 1. The Hole. Yishan conjured an image in her mind. Oh, it's Tanya. Hi Tanya. Okay. I'm just going to keep on reading this. Okay. A white cruise ship sailing across the vast ocean, its bows slicing through the waves, creating a melodious roar of water. Flocks of seagulls glide on the currents, slowly drawing near. After the rain, the sun shone brightly, baking the deck that had been washed by the night's storm. Passengers awakened from the tempest of the previous night, now embarking on a new day of life aboard the ship. Suddenly, the leader amongst the seagulls issued a piercing cry, seemingly beckoning its companions to keep pace. The surrounding seagulls, stirred by the urgency of their leader's call, swiftly converged, curious about the new discovery that prompted such an eager summon. It seems that the original vessel was methodically disposing of its compressed scraps and remnants into the sea, attracting a multitude of fish that followed the enticing scent. This in turn allowed the seagull to indulge in a lavish feast merely by following the ship's wake. Oh, sound? The crescendo of their calls summoned an ever-increasing flock of seabirds. Even the passengers aboard the cruise were drawn to the scene, reminiscent of a landscape painting, eagerly taking out their cameras to capture the moment. Amid the clamorous passengers and squabbling seabirds, the cruise ship, immense smokestacks languidly exhaled thin wisps of smoke that painted the skies bright and the ocean calm. The Yuan recalled the teaching of her psychology professor on how to steady turbulent emotions. Envision a safe, stable sanctuary in your mind. But limit yourself to 3 seconds. The ticking time bomb in front of you, your necrotic finger, or the footsteps outside the door could at any moment be your escort to meet Jimmy. Jimmy? Who the fuck is Jimmy? No one in the classroom knew that Jimmy was actually the teacher's favorite musician. However, his mention was followed by a laugh that sounded eerily like a howler monkey, sending the entire class into uproarious laughter. This laughter now seemed to float above the cruise ship, mingling with the tendrils of smoke. Yusuan felt her tensions dissolve completely.
一、二、三。
One, two, three. Oh, by the way, if I haven't told, this is a Chinese production. Yusuan counted 3 seconds and her vision, which had been missing for so long, finally returned home. She could see the familiar ceiling above her, but her body remained paralyzed, unable to move, not even her eyes. Suddenly, Yusuan heard a distant sound. Liu Xuan felt as if her ears had been pricked by needles, becoming abnormally sensitive. They picked up a tickling sound, growing closer and more rapid.
在下雨，而且很大。
It was raining, and heavily so. Liu Xuan tried to sniff, and her belated sense of smell, tinged with blood, instantly jolted her brain. This also made her desperately want to regain the last sense not under her control. Liu Xuan furrowed her brow, straining to recover her sense of touch. Okay, so there's a bunch of vultures outside this ship, and she's unconscious, and she's waking up, and she doesn't know yet about the vultures, but she seems to be curious about her surroundings. Okay, that's as far as what's going on at the moment. Her efforts soon paid off. She felt herself propped against something soft, with the sensation of sweat-soaked skin up against her back. Oh, oops. What was... Okay, we need to see the previous, log. Okay. Log? Then struggling, Liu Xuan managed to lift her right hand to touch her chest, feeling fabric soaked with some kind of liquid. By now, she almost understood her condition, but the scene she pictured hinted at imminent danger. Oh shit. She wanted to control her body, to at least be able to lower her head to survey her surroundings, but to no avail. The vast ocean, the cruise liner, and once more, sunlight made its appearance. Liu Xuan inhaled deeply, the pungent, acrid smell of blood flooding his nostril. His? Isn't she a woman? Misgendering? Not good, not good. Also made them easier. Okay, an acrid smell of blood flooding her nostrils, prompting every muscle in her body to tense as if recoiling from the odor, though it also made them easier for Liu Xuan to command.
好，
Good. Oh, fuck. Oh, she's in her room. Okay, okay. So the cruise ship has nothing to do with what's going on in her room, apparently. Liu Xuan turned her head to survey her surroundings. The living room of her home, dark because the lights were off. Despite the gloom, it was clear that the usually orderly furniture had been tossed about, as if a typhoon had ripped through the area. Liu Xuan looked down and saw her white shirt violently torn open, stained with a red liquid that eerily resembled the gaping maw of a great white shark. She's so hot, by the way. Oh, holy shit. Slipping her hand inside, she found her bra still in place, though its front clasp had been ripped apart. It was as if someone had used a sharp blade to viciously split her chest open, causing blood to splatter everywhere. Yet, her chest bore not a single scratch. Liu Xuan momentarily set aside her doubts, pushed herself up from the couch, and immediately heard a thick, dripping sound behind her. She walked a few steps, then sank back to sleep, a blood-red cascade draped over the sofa where she had just been seated. The most vivid stain exactly where her back had rested.
如果有人从正面捅穿我的胸口，然后向下切开，那血迹就会变成现在这样。
If someone had stabbed through my chest from the front and then made a downward cut, the blood would have looked just like this. However, she felt no discomfort whatsoever. In fact, she felt unusually strong, as if she could break the record for a 500-meter specialty obstacle course, and maybe toss a disagreeable superior 10 meters away on one hand. Yeah, I know. Get it, babe. But now was not the time for such shots. Liu Xuan noticed her close partner lying in front of the couch, on the glass coffee table next to a spare magazine. She stepped forward and picked it up. The silver handgun named Beethoven 1900. named Beethoven. Is it Beethoven or Beethoven? I think Beethoven. It was developed in-house by the agency. It was the only gun she was permitted to carry off-duty. It fired 9mm round and held 8 in the magazine. Yusan tilted her handgun, noting that the safety was off. She promptly engaged it, ejected the magazine, and saw from the cutaway that 6 rounds remained. She couldn't recall having fired the gun recently. Her memories were mostly of concluding a 3-month-long mission yesterday and beginning her leave. After returning home, she had planned some rest, but then her recollection skips to the present. She reinserted the magazine as it clicked into place. A roll of thunder echoed from outside. Suddenly, a flash of lightning illuminated the room. Yusan widened her eyes, staring at her left palm. An oval-shaped black hole had appeared in the center, perfectly integrated with her skin. Yet, it disregarded the natural undulations of her muscles, remaining a smooth, flawless oval from every angle.
伤口，还是什么东西贴在上面了？
Is it a wound, or something else adheres to my skin? The sun decided to slowly bend her thumb to touch the mysterious oval. Oh, that's creepy as fuck. Suddenly, a swarm of tiny black monsters burst from a dark hole, writhing wildly in the palm of Liu Xuan's hand. They climbed her fingers, reached towards the base of her thumb, and then circled back. She slightly leaned back, yet her gaze remained locked, utterly captivated. The black monsters began to swirl around an oval center, evoking images of a primitive cave painting with simple lines depicting people engaged in eerie, ritualistic dances around a campfire. Liu Xuan's curiosity far outweighed her puzzlement as she watched, mesmerized by the spectacle. As the chaotic dance of the black lines subsided, their movements became orderly. They bent and straightened, gradually taking shapes into forms that Liu Xuan could recognize. Soon the monsters settled into static patterns, transforming into simple lines. Liu Xuan slightly lowered her head, meticulously tracing the patterns that now adored her hand.
个、十、百、
1,
千、
10,
万、
100,
亿，这
thousand,
是一亿？
10,000, 100 million. Is this 100 million? The numbers that appeared in the center of her palm paused briefly before they rapidly trembled and retracted back into the dark oval. Liu Xuan unconsciously licked her lips, only then realizing that they were cracking and bleeding. An overwhelming array of mysteries stacked up like a landslide in the fast lane of her thoughts, demanding she take a moment to methodically sift through them. However, before she could even divert her gaze from her palm, another clap of thunder resounded. Okay, I'm going to... Ouch! Okay, I gotta go change my posture because I cannot be lying on my bed like this. I gotta turn off the lights also. I'm going to continue reading in like half a minute. Okay. Lights are off. Lights are off. We're cozy. Okay, other than Tanya and my, other than Tanya and my dear, who the hell is in here? Report yourself. Oh, I should probably post my live stream link on Threads too, don't I? Yeah, I'm gonna do that actually. I'm going to post it on Threads. Just a second. Probably should post it on Threads, right? Exactly. Instagram. By the way, if there's any changes in the quality of the live stream, do tell me. If there's any changes in like the quality of the voice or like the quality of the mic, you gotta tell me, Kat, because like I cannot follow, I cannot listen to myself because then like audio feedback would be, you know, would be infinite and it would create like really horrible noise for everybody. Okay, let's go back at it. Yusun's eyes widened as she fixed her gaze on a shadow lurking beneath the shattered glass coffee table, then abruptly turned her head. Oh shit. That's not good. That is not good. That doesn't look good. Oh, oops. Okay, I'm gonna turn it to full screen. The shadow outside seemed to react to her stare. Stirring to life, it bent forward, its jagged back rising ominously before it moved and shattered the glass. As a sinister shape entered the room, its back scraping the ceiling, Liu Xuan could see its skin, cracked like drought-ridden earth. Raindrops fell upon it, absorbed instantly, yet they were far enough to moisten. Oops. Far enough to what? Raindrops absorbed instantly. Along with this unusual figure, a horrendous stench invaded her room. It was a thick, putrid blend of rotting flesh and filth, so overpowering that Liu Xuan could almost hear flies buzzing around as if holding a gathering in her house. Stop daydreaming! Liu Xuan imagined a cruise ship breaking through a filthy sea toward dawn. As she raised a gun and flicked off the safety, she fired 2 shots. The unique, melodious sounds of the gunshot resonated like piano notes, soon followed by the thud of bullets lodging into a thick tree trunk. The monster, resembling deadwood, slowed a step momentarily before collapsing onto the ground. Its drooping white filament slightly touched the ground before it suddenly sprang up in slender limbs, rapidly propelling it towards Liu Xuan. The hissing sound of rainwater being absorbed by its skin slightly stirred Liu Xuan's innate sense of fear, like the gentle flicker of a snake's tongue. As Susan backed away, she fired her last 4 bullets. Swiftly, she pulled a spare magazine from her pocket and reloaded. But just as she chambered a new round, the monster caught up with her and knocked her to the ground, a suffocating stench enveloping her. Struggling to flip herself over, she found the beast's weight too much to manage, trapping her firmly. The rumbling sound of the massive tree moving caused Liu Xuan's head to ache. The dark, deadwood monster split open its trunk, revealing a dark green diaphragm that writhed continuously. The previously limp white filament now stood erect like dandelion stalks. Liu Xuan felt the monster grab her right arm, pulling her toward the gaping split. Her mind screamed with alarms, a red flash of danger. No! Hell no! Suddenly, a horror she had never felt in her 27 years surged over her like a flood, overwhelming her senses. She's 27. We love older women, by the way. We fucking love older women. She's 27. Jesus, she's kind of hot. Okay. Yusun's right arm shrank rapidly inside her sleeve, her pink skin turning into ash as her muscles were gruesomely exposed. The smooth, orderly tissues contracted violently, resembling the limbs of a dead insect. She screamed in horror as an unknown red substance seeped out of her sleeve, quickly absorbed by the deadwood. Shut up, Tanya! Palm on a tree behind you. Within seconds, only the white bones of her right arm, remained. Meanwhile, the dead wood's withered limb flourished maliciously, sprouting, pulsating black tissues. Wait, I fucking hate the controls here, by the way. No! No! Okay. Okay, we're at black tissues. Reflexively, Liu Xuan raised her left hand to grab at the branches of the dead wood, noticing the black lines in her palm dancing wildly once again. This time, the number... Wait, it doesn't show the whole sentence? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. She had no time to consider what this meant, as every second was a luxury while the cruise ship teetered on the brink in a violent storm. Oh, she's still on the cruise ship. Once again, Li Xuan swung her left arm to retrieve the handgun that had dropped nearby. She swung it behind her back and rapidly fired 6 straight shots downward. Years of rigorous training had honed Li Xuan's muscles to precision, enabling her to fire her gun without a tremor even in dire situations, with each bullet striking nearly. After a series of sharp gunshots, one bullet fired away. Okay, let's do TLDR on this, because we accidentally skipped over a large part, and I don't want to Oh. $96 million. Oh, so it absorbed something from the 100 million. She lost 4 mil from that thing absorbing her. So it's decreased again. I see. Gasping for breath, she temporarily set aside the scattering debris in her thoughts to concentrate on the monster before her. Okay, so it's absorbing some kind of life force or some kind of dark power from her. And she started with 100 million and she lost 4 from it. The deadwood seemed enamored with the bludgeoning black muscles on its body, swaying as though appreciating a fine wine, clearly not yet satisfied and poised to attack Liu Xuan again. Oh, so it grew more muscles from absorbing that energy from her. That's freaky. But as it bent forward, it abruptly twisted and froze, facing the window. Liu Xuan glanced outside and noticed that the rain was easing, soon to stop. The deadwood seized the moment, flipped over, and crawled out the window into the night. Holding her breath, Liu Xuan tightened her grip on the handgun and slowly approached the window. She leaned against the wall and peeked outside. The underbrush in the villa area was disheveled and scattered, with a trail leading off into the distance. Soon the rain stopped and the movement in the bush ceased. Liu Xuan kept keyed up, her eyes fixed on the silent darkness until even the foul stench had completely disappeared. Only then did she turn and lean against the wall.
要在下雨前查清楚是怎么回事。
I need to figure out what's going on before it rains again. Calm and collected, we like that. The storm had subsided, and feeling slightly more at ease, Liu Xuan activated her phone's flashlight, hoping to uncover some clues in the living room that might explain the events during her memory gap. However, the recent scuffle had left only chaotic footprints in the floor, some resembling animal hooves or snake-like marks, likely just muddy stains left by an intruder who had entered during the rain. Realizing the urgency of the situation, she quickly pocketed her phone and headed into the bedroom. There was 2 wardrobes in the room. The left was filled by a variety of clothing reflecting recent fashion trends, and several uniquely patterned and material canes at the bottom. The right, when opened, revealed an array of exclusively black garments, resembling a Batcave in its dark uniformity. Liu Xuan didn't hesitate. She approached the right wardrobe and selected a bra, a shirt, and a trench coat. The sound of gunfire and shattering glass must have drawn attention.
现在先躲开警察，等他们走了再去保安室看监控录像，最好能找到我昏迷那段时间的线索。
I should avoid the police for now. Once they've left, I'll head to the security office to check the surveillance footage. Hopefully, it will reveal what happened when I was unconscious. As Liu Xuan considered where she should clean the bloodstained shirt and the sofa cover, she pulled out a drawer from underneath the bed, took it out completely, and then retrieved a briefcase hidden underneath. The case had all the essentials for her work. Okay, you know what? The left was filled with a variety of clothing reflecting recent fashion trends and several uniquely transparent and material canes at the bottom. The right is an array of... She has a girlfriend. She's living with a woman. This bitch is gay. Like, she opened the right wardrobe, and she's wearing exclusively black garments with a trench coat. And there is, like, the other one with, like, variety of clothing reflecting... She's gay. Like, this bitch is a homosexual, Your Honor. Oh my god. She took 2 spare magazines from the case and stashed them in the inner pockets of her coat, then refilled the emptied magazine with the remaining bullets. That was all the ammunition she had left. Oh, if I start cleaning up now, I won't have time to leave before the police arrive. I'll have to leave it. Also, this mysterious hole that appeared in my hand seems connected to everything else. I should visit Bai Wei to see if he can figure something out. The dressing table beside her bed was cluttered with cosmetics, some of which Li Xuan couldn't even recall the use for. Likely a side effect of being away on missions for too long. But there was no time to sort through them now. She grabbed the car keys from the dressing table, picked up the briefcase, and made her way to the garage. Stepping outside of her room, Li Xuan glanced at her phone to unlock it. After her old phone had been destroyed during a previous mission, her colleague had persuaded her to buy this trendy new model, which she was still getting used to. Okay, I gotta sit up. I gotta sit up. It's affecting my voice. I gotta sit up. That's better. She manually typed in Bai Wei's number and pressed call, contemplating the years it would take to rebuild her emptied contact list. At exactly 2:30 a.m., she was about to hang up, not wanting to disturb Bai Wei's sleep, but he just picked up the phone just in time. Hello? You're back. Bai Wei sounded energized, clearly not just woken from sleep. I got back yesterday. We can talk details later. You on tonight? Yeah, what's up? Send you back without fixing you up? I'm fine, no injuries. Bai Wei's awkward concern helped blur the lingering fear inside Liu Xuan, replacing it gradually with a sense of security. But I need to see you. Is the clinic busy? Not busy. Come over. Okay. Liu Xuan ended the call, pressed the garage door opener, and waited as the roll-up door began to rise, detecting a strange smell. The foul odor left by the monster was now more annoying as her adrenaline had subsided. Oops. She planned to grab the citrus scented roll-on perfume from her car's storage box once inside. As the garage door fully opened, Li Xuan eagerly stepped into a black electric car, ready to drive through the quiet streets of the night. On the midnight road, only Li Xuan's car waited at the traffic light. She took the chance to reach into the compartment and pull out a bottle of perfume. The cylindrical bottle was frosted glass. For some reason, she couldn't recall what brand it was, and no lettering on the bottle offered an answer. It must have been on the box. She didn't think much of it. The bottle was nearly empty, and she was indeed in the habit of wearing perfume. She popped open the cap, letting the rollerball glide across her waist and neck. At once, the fragrance of rosemary mixed with lemon, neroli is... What's neroli? Neroli? Oh, okay. Orange flower. Lemon, rose, and orange flowers began to spread, and with it the cruise ship in her vine finally reappeared, sailing once more in the calm sea. The sight filled Yushan with a composed serenity. Just then the light turned green. She pressed the accelerator and continued towards the clinic. She disliked the thought of dragging Dr. Bai Wei into this inexplicable matter, yet, given her present predicament, oh, this was something I had to do, wasn't it? Okay, so we have. Oh shit. Yusuan drove out of the garage and turned right, her headlight swept across the half-moon of pavement, missing the figure crouched in the flower bed across the street. She had a stalker! The figure waited until her taillight vanished around the corner before standing, raising her camera and snapping shots through the floor-to-ceiling window of the chaos inside Yusuan's home. What the? What was that thing that just broke in? And she actually drove it off. Definitely worth following. The shutter clicked again. This time the camera's display showed a white blur flashing into Liu Shan's home. What the? She lowered the camera. Nothing. Every time she caught only those fleeting, shadowy shapes. It meant one thing. Time to run. Okay, so there's a journalist following her, apparently. There's her living room. Okay, so this is the city that we're working with. It's a large place. There's her home, living room. I think we are done with tasks. Okay. Wait, what did she say?
别浪费时间了。
Stop wasting time, let's go. Okay. But I do want to read your log though. I do want to read the log. Okay. Journal. The moon. Okay. Details. Heading to the Bywig private clinic for help. The moon is bright tonight, prompting me to restart my journal. I had been a diligent recorder ever since I first started 5 years ago. Up until where? Okay. Up until last month when I lost my old phone in an accident. The loss of so much data disheartened even me. Someone who was often called detached, and I had resolved to stop journaling. However, the fear and confusion stirred by tonight's events have compelled me to document them again. Whether transforming memories into visible text can instill confidence in me, or reassure me that my experiences were not just nightmares. Writing at least offered me, an avid reader, a chance to calm my mind. Blood stains on the sofa, a black hole in my palm, blood rising in the air, foul-smelling dogwood, and an arm that withered and then instantly revived. Returning to my home in Egret City after 3 months, I encountered a series of bizarre supernatural events on my very first night back. Unsure how to handle these incidents, my immediate plan is to meet with Bai Wei and have the anomaly in my palm examined at the hospital, hoping that the forces of science and reason can help me confront this tide of mysteries and eeriness. Yeah, so the most for it is probably based on a real city in China, but for now we're working with a fictional Egret city. Okay, so we have. Okay, so first, no nouns, no SMS. There's one text from an unknown contact. We can't see it. And we have an unknown contact. This phone not only categorizes unsafe numbers as unknown, but can also do the same for some known ones. A feature I find exceptionally useful. When I discovered it, I promptly used it to anonymize a contact whose identity must remain concealed. Now I find myself in dire need of his assistance. Okay, so we have one unknown contact that we need to reveal because we don't remember who that is. My earliest memory is of a room in the orphanage, its walls adorned with wallpapers depicting blue skies and white clouds. There I felt enveloped in warmth and love as I grew. When I was 14, an agency seeking children with straightforward background approached the orphanage. When I was chosen, my surname had even been given by one of the orphanage's benefactor. Somehow I felt it was my destiny to take on this job, whose details were so unclear to me. So, without much reluctance, I decided to leave the orphanage and follow the agency, a path that had led me to where I am today. So we have no clue what the fuck is that agency is, but it's probably related to some kind of mystery investigation. Okay, so we're going to go to the consulting room now. Lisa pushed open the frosted glass door of the clinic and immediately slotted Bai Wei with his back to her, meticulously arranging medical supplies on a metal rack beside the hospital bed. Unsure of what injuries she might have, he had prepared a variety of medications in a large stack of white bandages.
哪儿受伤了？躺下来吧。
Where you hurt, just lie down. Li Suan waved her hand to indicate she was really fine, but Bai Wei looked her over skeptically. After a thorough check, he finally felt reassured enough to remove his sterile gloves and settled back into his swivel chair.
那这还是你第一次凌晨赶来诊所，身上却没带着几个冒血的窟窿。
So, this is the first time you have rushed into the clinic in the middle of the night without any visible bullet holes.
这次任务虽然时间长，但不怎么危险。
This mission was lengthy, but it's not particularly dangerous. Li Suan responded, walking over to the window and pulling back the curtain to ensure that the dark sky was not beginning
不
to
过你
rain.
要说窟窿的话，
However, if you're asking about wounds, Li Suan removed her glove to show Bai Wei the unusual condition on the palm of her hand. Bai Wei, now 47, had previously studied in Canada and worked there as a surgeon during a time of frequent large-scale protests and riots. Renowned as an outstanding orthopedic specialist, it was routine for him to perform 5 surgeries a day due to the heavy caseload during those tumultuous times. After the situation had stabilized, 7 years had swiftly passed. Eventually, Bai Wei decided to return to his home country with his wife and opened a private clinic, which he still operates today. Over the years, Bai Wei had seen numerous cases of physical trauma, becoming somewhat desensitized to them. However, the black oval on Lu Xuan's palm was disturbingly unusual, causing his hair to stand on end.
会痛吧？现在是什么感觉？
Does it hurt? What does it feel like right now? Bai Wei grasped her wrist, leaning in closely to inspect for any sign of the black ellipse tearing through her palm, but he could discern nothing.
先去拍个 X 光，然后告诉我发生了什么。
Let's get an X-ray first. Then you can tell me what happened. The son nodded, double-checked that it wasn't raining outside, and then followed Bai Wei out of the examination room. As they walked, she began explaining, "Oh, I'm a little tired." She began explaining the chaotic scene at her home and her encounter with the Deadwood monster. On the other side of the city, several police cars had pulled up in front of Yusan's house, their red and blue intertwined lights constantly swirling and scanning the darkened driveway. Residents were poking their head around the dark windows in their robes. Apparently, the sleepiness of the early morning hours had not dampened their excitement to get together at all. The officers from the criminal room were talking and laughing, seemingly having only arrived not long ago and still making preparations before forensics. However, the leading captain took a phone call, began to read all the officers present as they closed up. The incident, which took place in the center of the city and in which the caller claimed to have heard gunshots, came to an abrupt end, and there was no more official investigations. With the sound of distant sirens, the rain fell again. Okay, so she's got influence, or at least like her agency has some kind of like influence over the police force. After sharing her harrowing ordeal, Lisa knew Byway would need some time to digest it all. She leaned against the clinic's window, making a call on a basic phone to her boss since the police had visited her home. The loud noises from the confrontation with the Deadwood monster had undoubtedly alarmed the property management, who decided the best course of action was to check the situation and then call the police. The agency usually facilitated smooth interactions with other official bodies, but also encouraged its members to avoid unnecessary complications with external organizations, considering both personal relations and the agency's unique nature. Therefore, Lisan braced for reprimand, but was surprised when her boss didn't even ask her to file a report. Instead, he simply acknowledged the situation and said that it would be handled. He also mentioned that there was a significant issue with the agency's records and no new mission would be forthcoming soon. Lisan ended the call with some confusion, but since she wasn't a clerical worker at the agency, she didn't need to worry about the archival issues. Meanwhile, Byway was examining the X-ray films of both hand, which he had clipped onto a light box. The dark images of her left hand clearly showed an oval obscuring the X-ray, appearing as a stark, dark spot.
恐怕需要再做别的检查，但我也不敢刺激这个东西，很难办。
We may need to run some more tests, but I'm hesitant to provoke whatever this is. It's tricky. Lisa nodded, pondering her next steps if she could find help
除
here.
了我之外，还有人经历过同样的事吗？
Has anyone else ever gone through something like this?
我有个皮肤科的朋友，见多识广，我会去问问。
I have a dermatologist friend who's seen a lot. I'll ask
这
her.
段时间你别乱跑，待在路程等消息。
For now, just don't go anywhere. Stay in Egret City and wait for my update.
谢了，老白。
Thanks,
先不说
bye.
这些，你坐下。
Set that aside for now. Take a seat. Lisan sat across from Byway and immediately noticed his lips twitching unnaturally, a sign from his nervousness from her past encounters with him.
精神科的事我不了解，只能简单问你几句。
I'm not versed in psychiatry, so I can only ask you a few straightforward questions.
我，精神科。
Me? Psychiatry?
你说的话我都相信，但是
I believe everything you're saying, but
你
Byway
刚
leaned.
才提到的枯木，那显然是一种很奇怪的生物，那种体型很难在城市里隐蔽行踪，以及你的手臂和它突然长出来的肌肉，我也无法理解。
The Deadwood monster you described is clearly something very unusual. Given its size, it would be hard to move around the city unnoticed, and I can't make sense of your arm's rapid muscle growth or its body.
在此之前，你从没见过这种东西吧？
You've never seen anything like this before, right?
没有，我是第一次碰到。
No, this was my first encounter.
我知道，你这行的人面对突发情况有办法保持冷静，但这次跟以前可没法比。
I know your training prepares you to handle any sort of situation calmly, but this is different from any prior scenario.
吕璇，你明白吗？这已经不是心理素质的问题了。你现在给我的感觉不太对劲。
This one, do you understand? This is no longer just a matter of mental resilience. There's something off about your condition. This one nodded, recognizing Byway's concern.
但现在能保持冷静，算是救了我自己一命。所以这件事先，
However, staying calm had probably saved my life for now, so for the moment, let's... As Yusan heard raindrops striking the awning, a hissing sound quickly followed, culminating in a deafening crash of shattering glass.
快跑！
Bye! Get out first! She kicked Byway's swiveling chair out of the way and bent down to draw her handgun. As she disengaged in safety, She opened fire on the deadwood monster that had burst into the clinic. Bullets hit it, but it twisted and writhed, pulling itself completely into the crown's clinic while a foul stench filled the air. Flyaway pushed the doorway by the momentum of his chair, opened the door and dashed into the clinic's lobby to begin evacuating the night shift staff. In the bright light of the clinic, Yusuan could finally see the monster clearly. It was less a monster of deadwood and more of a black withered skeleton, uneven and gaunt, now lacking muscles, nerves and organs, all of which it seemed to one from Yusuan. Yusuan fired off her remaining 4 bullets without hesitation, quickly swapping the empty magazine for a full one that she had ready, and prepared for another round. The monster seemed overwhelmed by the onslaught. It thrashed, its black, muscular parts flinging a large medicine cabinet towards Yusuan. The heavy metal cabinet, mixed with shards of glass, hurled towards her. Forced to cease fire, she dodged her cabinet, but the flying medicine jar almost tripped her, causing her to stagger. Taking advantage of her momentary imbalance, the deadwood monster leapt toward Yusuan, charging directly at her. The impact hit Yusuan hard in the chest, sending her flying out the clinic like a stunt actor on wires. She tumbled to the ground, quickly regaining her footing and sprinting towards the nearby storage room. As she ran, she noticed several gashes across the chest where the monster's branches had struck her, with blood slowly seeping out. Glancing back to make sure that the deadwood monster hadn't followed, she checked the palm of her left hand. Thankfully, there were no wildly dancing numbers this time. The monster, typically aggressive, hesitated and moved cautiously. It coiled its body and crept slowly into the storage room, its head-like structure swaying unnervingly. Yusuan contemplated attacking the clump of black muscle again, hoping it might be more effective, but she suddenly noticed something odd about the monster.
不对，他没看着我。
It started looking at me. The deadwood wasn't alert to her gun. Instead, its curled body was aimed slightly to the right of her. Keeping her gun aimed at the deadwood, Yusuan quickly glanced to her right. Oh shit. From the shadow, a monster that was almost, but not quite human, approached her. It had a face eerily similar to a human's, and from her angle, seemed to be smiling. The monster swung a thick tail nearly a meter long, its body covered in pale, fine hair, and sported long gray hair, looking almost human. However, its lower half had the bent legs typical of feline animals. Yusuan slowly backed away, but the pale monster sped up its crawl towards her, clearly targeting her. Compared to the terrifying appearance of the deadwood monster, Yusuan felt a strange fondness for this white being. It looked somewhat cute. Oh shit, lesbians? Oh, I'm loving the music for this section, by the way. Yuri! But that thought lasted only a moment. Oh no! It's not Yuri! The pale monster turned its face, devoid of eyes, towards the ground, and then opened its mouth. A vast maw that occupied half of its head, filled with blade-like fangs. Yusuan screamed and fell back to the ground, but the grotesque display was far from over. The monster lifted its left hand, revealing a crack that stretched from the base of its thumb across the wrist. Suddenly, the crack widened, exposing a rugged black interior from which a dark red tongue emerged. Shaking, Liu Xuan also turned her left hand. The black oval remained unchanged, but the connection between her and the monster was oh shit. The monster then turned its attention to the wounds on Liu Xuan's chest. It bent forward and began crawling towards her on
别
all
过来，
fours.
不许动，否则我要开枪了。
Stay back! Don't move, or I'll shoot! Liu Xuan warned, perhaps unnerved by the monster's disturbing human-like appearances. However, it ignored her warning and accelerated its pace. Now on the ground, the monster's head opened, her teeth chattering as she gripped her run. Opened wider and thicker, more agile tongue licked at, running along the surface of the tongue. Oh shit. It's licking her wound! Liu Xuan threw her head back, her teeth chattering as she gripped the gun tightly, her fingernails digging painfully into her skin. The deadwood monster, seemingly unable to restrain itself any longer, suspected that the pale intruder was there to steal its prey. However, with the chance to restore its own body so close, it wasn't about to relinquish its opportunity. It had spent too much time in the sewers, subsisting on filthy water. The pale monster acted first. Organs on either side of its head suddenly opened, and in the next instant, it darted behind the deadwood. What happened next was something Liu Xuan could never have imagined. Accompanied by the sound of cracking wood chip and the heavy tearing of bark, the pale monster began to feed. Its massive mouth, positioned atop its head, tore open the deadwood's body and started to devour it. To Liu Xuan, the deadwood seemed to crumble like chocolate wafer, scattering fragments as it was consumed by the pale monster's head. The deadwood thrashed wildly, cracking the walls of the warehouse and leaving dark scratches where signs hung. Meanwhile, the small predator used its strong tails to stabilize itself, treating the deadwood's resistance as if it were merely the swaying of a revolving restaurant, and continued to gorge itself. Its left hand even reached directly into a horrific crack in the deadwood that had been feeding on Liu Xuan's arm, extracting soft tissues to stuff into its gaping maw. Liu Xuan slowly stood up, leaning against the wall corner. Debris scattered around her, and black fluids from the deadwood's shattered body pooled at her feet. She gripped her gun, unsure of what to do next. All the knowledge and skills she had seemed useless against the surreal scene. The small weapon in her hand was her only support. But if the pale monster turned its appetite towards her next, would the handgun really be effective? Her mind briefly conjured a terrifying scenario. An earthquake struck the sea where the cruise ship sailed. Massive waves swiftly rose and morphed into the shape of the pale monster, effortlessly slicing the cruise ship in half. 3 seconds later, Liu Xuan was jolted back into reality. The deadwood monster had vanished, leaving only fragments in a pool of black liquid on the ground. The scene before her was more eerie than anything she could have imagined. The predator lay on the ground, its face resembling a human pressed against the earth, while its mouth on top of its head slowly swept up the remaining debris with its tongue. Liu Xuan aimed her gun at it, calculating where to shoot to maximize the likelihood of a hit. Contentedly, the pale monster stood up, its agile tongue licking its mouth before closing its head. It then began to crawl towards Liu Xuan once again. Liu Xuan felt her hand holding the gun tremble slightly and her vision blur. She knew her body was fine. It was her nerves getting the better of her. She had faced the deadwood monster without flinching, So why did the seemingly more benign pale monster unsettle her so much? Ah? The monster paused in front of Yu Xuan, paced around her like a dog, and then settled down at her feet. It folded the appendages it had previously extended, now seemingly completely relaxed. Yu Xuan rotated the gun towards its head. As Yu Xuan considered whether she could have handled the deadwood monster alone had this pale monster had appeared, she questioned its intentions. Was it hostile? Should she ignore the resemblances it bore to her? She answered these doubts with a resolute no, then secured the safety on her handgun and tucked it into her coat. Carefully, she bent down and reached out to touch the pale monster's fur. The moment she made contact, she felt the warmth of a living being and the rhythmic thumping of its heartbeat. A familiar, comforting sensation that slightly narrowed the distance between them. Gradually, Liu Shan placed her hand on the monster. In response, its thick tail rose quietly, pressing against her back to support her weight and curling at a comfortable angle to allow her to sit and rest. The seemingly friendly monster extended its neck and turned its head to gently touch Liu Shan's cheek. The hard ridges around its massive mouth scraped uncomfortably against her skin. But she dared not move abruptly, choosing instead to reluctantly appreciate this dangerous act of kindness.
Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain hiding the road.
Okay, so I think we are done with the prologue.
Going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears now, the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in the world that is above. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way. But it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing the trace.
Okay, I think that's a good place to wrap up today's stream. Uh, Thank you guys so much. Okay, let's quit back the title now. Okay, we gotta save. Yay! Pass, 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 pass. That was a really interesting premise, actually. I love the soundtrack. I love like the art. I love the art. I love the soundtrack. And for the moment, like I'm getting really intrigued. I'm getting really intrigued by this character, this main character. There seems to be something going on about her and her job with this agency, and I'm like really interested in exploring that more. I'm also like super curious about the doctor guy. Like doctor guy looks kind of cool. Looks like he's going to be a recurring character, so like provide boons or like help to us. And yeah, that's it. Like that's the end of the stream for tonight. It's a really I really wanted to play this game with a few of my friends in the United States, but like since they operate on like a different time zone. And so like I'm probably going to just work on this game alone. If you have joined the stream for tonight, if you've been here for like the night, then I appreciate you a lot, and I hope like if you guys enjoyed my voice and you guys enjoyed me giving life to the story, you can just tell me, and we'll have another time, another stream like this together. I'm probably going to close the game now, and so like we can just soak in like the login screen, the loading screen once more, and I'm probably going to close the stream. So thank you guys so much for joining my little stream for tonight. Yay! Anybody reporting? Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Stream's over. Love y'all.